The Winnipeg Boldness Project is basically a project that's trying to figure out how to make things better for children. And the way that we want to figure that out is to go to our community, the community of Point Douglas, and ask folks in this community, what would it take to make things better for their kids? One of the things that came forward pretty clearly and pretty early was the idea that families need to be around children, and we need to do more to bring families together, and we need to do more to surround our children with a full set of natural supports. As a society, we've done pretty well at dividing families. We separate the men, we separate the women, we separate the youth, we separate the seniors. And so the idea that we need to bring families more together really led us down a path of looking at how we've separated men out of the equation of families. We need to look at the role of men in families and realizing there's a huge gap in services, resources, and supports for our men in order for them to be very fully participating in children's lives.
I've been working in the field for several years, and I've always wondered, why is there nothing for dads? When we're just supporting mothers, they still have to go back to their partner that might not be healthy. But when we can support both of them together, then that's when they're taking the steps that need to be done.
When there's all these supports for one, and then there's nothing for the other, there's no balance. So when you have programs like these that come and they offer the same sorts of supports, you bring that balance, right? And it's going to create a ripple effect. And then the children are going to see that they've been, their parents are supported in a good way, which allows them to become better parents, and it's going to domino effect, right? They'll be better parents when they're old enough, and they're going to see that. And so something beautiful is coming out of this.
Men need more resources. There's not enough out there for them. You can't have one side being healthy and the other side not. Because if you have an unhealthy man and he's with a healthy woman, that unhealthy man's probably going to drag her down. And it's the same the other way. So you need to come up together.
Well, men don't get readily recognized as the caregiver, and there's lots of people out there like single fathers that sort of need the boost and the opportunity to express themselves and show that we are out there and we need help too. And the men's group sort of recognizes us as who we are.
Everybody has a different story, but there's a lot of themes in terms of trauma and life experience. The men come with stories of hurt and loss and anger and all kinds of things. What I think is crucial to the success of this group is there are no expectations. We expect nothing, we accept everything. The men come with their own agendas. It is organic, it is natural, and it is just men interacting on a real level. And there's some really powerful breakthrough moments that we have with each other. I really enjoy the honesty that the men have and the respect they have for one another, and there's a real camaraderie between the men. It feels good, and I think that's what attracts the guys to come. Is it's safe. It's actually a very safe place. I think it's helping them be better men, and if they can be better men, they can be better partners, better dads, better grandpas.
Being with these guys, it's words I can't describe, because we share things that we don't share with anybody.
If you go up to another guy on the street and be like, yo bro, having a shitty day, I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm like, I don't give a shit, but when you come here, it's you come in here, you have a day and you get to express it, and with people who are going through the same kind of stuff. So
when you try to live a good life, you'll find that you're alone. All your old friends, I grew up pretty hard, so I had to kind of separate myself from all my friends that I actually grew up with. Men's groups create healthy friendships that are, it's other men who also kind of feel alone, and they're kind of going on a path of loneliness, and suddenly you're not so lonely because you You've got companionship.
Well, we knew the men going in as the beginning of the group, but after the group we feel a lot more comfortable, and there's bonds there now, and we can meet them on the street and feel comfortable, not like turn around and be scared of people. There's a lot of bonds that have been made in friendships.
I wasn't really social, but now when I see those guys when I come here, I'm social. Like they ask me how I'm doing, ask them how they're doing, and I just create a bond with them, people I don't know. What I think of the stereotype is a man to provide and always there, no feelings, and he's not supposed to have feelings. And when I come here, it makes me realize that it's fine to let out your feelings because it's good and it's healthy.
I haven't sat in a circle with all men before, and it was really powerful seeing them open up and be vulnerable and tell each other they love each other and hug each other. And so to me, that's masculinity, and I feel that's changed the way that I see men as well.
When we first started the program, or when I first kind of joined, everybody was an individual, and at the end of the program, everybody had developed very strong bonds with one another. We cared about the ongoings of each other's personal lives. People who were soft-spoken and quiet in the beginning were confident and vocal. They started changing their mentality and their decision-making, and they started prioritizing things different, putting their families first and the needs of their children first.
CFS visits were happening during the group for more than one family. Out of those families, 2 of the families are getting their kids back. They're being reunified in the next, within a month. By July, I think 2 families will have their children back. That in itself is huge. We heard feedback from them that they had changed the way they thought about their kids, right? So they had changed from parent-centered thinking to child-centered thinking. One dad mentioned that he knew about child development now. He didn't have unrealistic expectations of his children because he learned something through the program.
The things that stuck with me the most is the child-centered, parent-centered. So now I ask myself, is this for me or is this for my children? Like what you said, going to a movie, is this for me or is this for the parent, or is it for both of us?
Men need a program. This program, something that helps us be better fathers, be better partners, be better people. I was short-tempered with my kids, for instance, right? And I would raise my voice when I shouldn't. I've learned here that kids don't need to hear your loud voice all the time. It should only be emergencies, really. You know what I'm saying? When they hear your loud voice. And even just something like that, learning that from this is big to me, because I didn't even know that.
Before I was quiet, I held everything in, and actually it was kind of like a ticking time bomb, really. And now I'm not afraid to say I love you. I tell my kids I love them. I tell people that I work with that I love them. I hug people. I just want to be that kind of a man, gentleman.
It made me look more wide open of myself. I see more, and I see the bond with my kids and the accomplishments that we accomplished during the group, and it's just all around good feeling. I feel good when I accomplish this. It makes me feel proud that I've actually done something.
Well, I guess the sharing circles impacted me the most because it gave me a chance to let out a lot of stuff I don't tell a lot of people, and then now it made me more comfortable to speak up with my girlfriend and tell her more stuff, and tell her more about my feelings instead of just holding them in and not telling her. And then a lot of it is just relationship wise, it's gotten me ready and prepared to create a relationship and a bond with my baby once he gets older.
I noticed the guys are slowly getting closer to their, the older ones are getting closer to their kids, talking to their kids, and most of the guys that they did get closer to their families, and it showed them as a father, I accomplished this. He was happy to bring that home to his family and let his family know that he did that.
We do events, and we help out in the community, and we volunteer, and we try to be helpful as men. But we also, in our events, will include our families and the children. So we had a pop-up barbecue carnival type day a couple of weeks ago. We used the Thunderbird House here and just put on a barbecue for the community, and all the families were here and the kids, and we gave out 2,500 hot dogs. We had a candy floss machine and a popcorn machine, and the kids were here, and it was really family oriented, and it felt great.
I'm part of everything. I'm part of marches for missing and murdered women. I'm part of Got Bannock. I'm part of OPK. I'm part of helping out, I'm helping out domestic violence victims and moving furniture, and the whole experience of giving back and having healthy men to talk to has absolutely changed my life for the better.
What do you think needs to happen for men to be better supported?
To be honest, I think that really groups like that, like all the groups, that they need to be supported, because at the end of the day, there is not enough support for men. There just isn't.
I've been talking to Mothering Project and this program here, like the early learning program, about how we as like a clinic can support fathers better, right? Because we see the outcomes, we see the reunification happening, but how can we be part of it?
The need is there, so when the need is there, we have to try to make opportunities and kind of find a way to create something out of that. Raising a child when you don't have the parenting skills, or when you might not have grown up in that dynamic, that's pretty hard, right? It's a learning process every day, even for me, even for people who've had no trauma or no bad experiences. So for those who have, like, it's almost like you're setting them up for failure in a sense.
It would be a blast just to have something going like this and keep it going, and it'd give more families, fathers, opportunities, and because a lot of fathers are out there in struggle and they don't know what to do or where to go.
I think, like anything, it's going to take that demographic to help itself. So it's going to take men encouraging other men to come out. I think that's what it's going to take.
Most of the guys I tell about this program, they're like, I've never even heard of it, you know? And then they're like, wow, man, you went to this program, now you're getting your kids? Like, how can I get involved? And there needs to be something for men, honestly, straight up. There needs to be something, because there's so much guys out there that are just stuck at home not knowing what to do. I'd just love for this thing to continue, and, so other men can thrive from this.